when it comes to the world of gaming, and there's a gaming series that we officially love, I'm talking about like how there's like 20 or more games in the Legend of Zelda series. I'm talking about like the Super Mario series or Metroid Prime series. Those games, yeah, they got a lot of games in their storyline, and we often get asked if we're given a handful of games and we can only choose one to play for the rest of our lives, the rest are gonna be destroyed, what game would that be? That got me thinking. And the series that I started thinking about was the Resident Evil series. And with the Resident Evil series, a bunch of their games have gotten good reviews on Metacritic. I'm gonna throw up a picture of the recent ones, like, I don't know, like 5 through 6. I'm gonna throw up the scores from Metacritic right here. And that got me thinking of the best ones that I've played, being Resident Evil 7, 4, and Requiem. Which one is the best, and which one would I continue to play the rest of my life if the Resident Evil series just vanished? Okay, real quick, I'm gonna say if I seem out of breath or if I sound nasally or something, I want to apologize. I've been sick for a long time. This is like the first day that I've actually felt like 60% better. I'm gonna do my best to not cough or anything, but this is the first video where I haven't actually been feeling under the weather, so I think I need a break on that. Anyway, let's talk about each Resident Evil game and why each of them are special, but which one I would play for the rest of my life. Let's start off with Resident Evil Biohazard. Resident Evil Biohazard, it definitely takes a whole different turn on the Resident Evil series. I know that with me personally, Resident Evil 5, that just sucked. That's like my least favorite of the entire series. I know a lot of people didn't like Resident Evil 6, and personally, like, I'm 50-50 about that. Like, I like it. I liked Resident Evil 6 a lot, but I can definitely see where people are coming from, why they hate it. It's more like an MMORPG shooter game. That's what it feels like. It definitely takes away from the horror, more just action, which really isn't what Resident Evil about. It's like survival strategy, what Resident Evil is supposed to be. Resident Evil 6 took away from that, but then the series came back around into the horror enterprise of the series with Biohazard. Biohazard is definitely a horror game. Like, it has its own story. There's no mention of Raccoon City. There's no mention of like Leon or Jill or Umbrella. Instead, we have this character, Ethan Winters, and it's the story about this man who goes searching in Louisiana for his missing wife who's been missing for 3 years. And he comes across like this haunted house, basically. It's him surviving this evil family, and it really brings the horror element back into this game. Especially that one dinner scene, which is just terrifying. Like, I think for anyone, if Resident Evil Biohazard gets mentioned to them, right away they're gonna think of the dinner scene, because that is just terrifying.
He got to have his supper. Come here, boy. Let's do this.
Oh shit, he's not eating Jack!
I do like Resident Evil Biohazard a lot. I like that it doesn't deal with zombies being the enemy. Rather, it's the father of the family, but he's being controlled by this little girl that's using this element called the mold to affect his brain to be able to use the father or the other members of the family to do her evil work. And they're hunting down Ethan through the game. The very first time that Ethan fights the father is in the garage of the house, and then he takes him on in like this chainsaw fight in this like butcher area, which is even more intense. And then you got these side enemies, which aren't zombies. They're like these weird, kind of like just swamp-like looking creatures called the molded that are completely different from zombies, but they're really creepy looking. They look like aliens. They don't look like they belong on Earth. They're very creepy looking creatures. It's nice that Resident Evil took just different side story from zombies and the end of the world to just a man trying to survive looking for his wife and trying to survive the nightmare that he's gotten himself into. It's a very creepy story, but it is really fun. Like, it does, like, in boss fights, like, you fight the dad, like, 3 times. There's that one part where you go into the separate house, you fight the mother, she turns into, like, this bug thing as the boss fight. Then you have to survive this, like, whole booby-trapped house that the brother has set up. It's a very different feeling Resident Evil game. It's definitely a horror video game, I would say. It's not just, like, action survival. It's just trying to survive a horror house, basically. But it's a really fun game. If you love horror games, definitely Biohazard is one to play. But if it was up to me, I could live without it. Like, I wouldn't miss it if it would go away. So, this one I'd be fine with getting rid of. Next, let's talk about Resident Evil Requiem, the newest one in the series. I love this game so much. When it first released, I went to my usual game store. They didn't have it on the release day. They said they were going to get it the next day. I went to 2 different stores. Each of them told me the same story. They were going to get it the next day after the day it got released. Finally, I went to Walmart. And surprisingly, Walmart actually had it. And the cashier actually told me, like, he hasn't had a chance to put this game on the shelves yet. Everyone just keeps on coming back and asking for them. So they have this box just filled with the cases of this game. So that was pretty awesome. Everyone wanted this game. Which is awesome because the trailer really hyped it up. And it's just so cool to be able to have the chance to play as this new character, Grace Ashcroft, who's wrapped up into the story being kidnapped after she investigates this hotel where her mother was murdered at. And you're also being able to play as Leon Kennedy, which is everyone's favorite character. So, Resident Evil Requiem is really cool. I think the biggest thing that people love about Requiem is the decision with the camera work that Capcom gave this game. With the sections where you play as Grace Ashcroft, you're given the ability to either play in third person, or where you can go like how it was in Resident Evil Biohazard or Resident Evil Village, where you're playing in first person. And then you have the chance, well, you're just playing in third person when you play as Leon in his sections. It's awesome. Like, the game is set up in these 2 separate stories that combine in the end, where Grace and Leon come together to work together to fight off the big baddie. But it's so cool to return to Raccoon City at the very beginning of the game, where Leon is going after the big baddie, Victor Gideon, and he's just shooting these people through the streets as Leon's following him. Gideon's just like shooting people with this dart gun that's turning them into zombies. So Leon's fighting his way through the city of a zombie-infected little city. It's awesome. I love the reveal of Raccoon City. I love the spider fight that Leon has right when he gets to Raccoon City. Like, Capcom's not messing around in this game. Right when Leon gets to Raccoon City, it's just action after action after action with zombies, spiders. It is crazy. It's a great game. Plus, it has great action sequences with Grace too. Like, there's a section where Grace, she finds this little girl she wants to protect named Emily. And this creature, she takes Emily to like these catacombs basically. And Grace she has to work way through all these puzzles and stuff, and there's this one part where she gets on this conveyor belt where she has to shoot these zombies, and the conveyor belt's moving to this giant meat grinder, so she's staying away from the grinder while shooting these zombies. It's a very intense moment of the game. The game itself has a lot of intensity to it, which is really fun. Like, it's an intense action survival game. So, Resident Evil Requiem, I would highly recommend playing it, especially if you love, like, there's a part of the game where it feels more like James Bond or a Mission Impossible, because Leon's riding a motorcycle through Raccoon City, like, he's going off these jumps, doing these turns, doing these flips, there's explosions going around him. It's super intense. It's really fun. But is it a game that I could spend the rest of my life playing in the series? Honestly, I just barely started replaying this. I'm like halfway through my second time replaying this, and I love it, but could I replay it over and over again without getting bored? I don't think so. Like, I love this game, I love the action sequences, I love the characters. You got this veteran Leon who's seen all this crap through the series that he's been in, and then you got this new character, Grace Ashcroft, who's scared of everything and has no idea what's going around her and is just trying to survive no matter what. I love that aspect of it, having a newbie and a veteran, but I gotta say, I'd get bored by the time my third or fourth replay came around. So, I'm gonna get rid of this one. Now, that leaves us with the game that I would play over and over again, and I haven't gotten bored of it yet, and that is Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about.
With Resident Evil 4, it keeps, I don't know, like, I played it so many times and it just keeps me guessing on what's gonna happen next, and that's how you know it's a good video game. I mean, I love the very beginning of the game, how dark and intense it is. Like, the game itself opens up with a human sacrifice. Like, I was not expecting it to open up how dark and gory the way that it did open up. And then you got Leon, he's fighting the villagers. You got that epic scene of that guy wearing the gunny sack with the chainsaw, and then you got the awesome bingo joke after you're fighting your way through the village after a bit, when all of them walk towards the church when they hear the bell ringing, and Leon's just like, where's everyone going? Bingo?
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
I love that the entire game isn't based in one area too. You start off in like this village, and then you move on to this castle, and then you move on to like this scientific lab, and each area has its own like feeling of dread to it. Like, one of the very funnest boss fights in the village is that Leon's on this boat and he's taking on this water monster, basically the Loch Ness monster, but he's being dragged by it, and what Leon is doing is he's just harpooning it the entire time, and sometimes the creature will charge the boat, so you gotta just keep throwing harpoons as fast as you can before the creature can reach the boat and knock Leon into the water where it'll eat him. So that is pretty cool. I found myself just having fun just driving around the lake in a motorboat in the middle of the rainstorm. I love that part of the game. Even doing something simple as that was really fun. Plus, another really fun boss fight from the village is Leon fighting the priest of the village. He's fighting the priest in a burning building, and the priest is like turned into like this scorpion creature thing that hangs from the roof. It's a really intense boss fight, and it's just really fun. There's also a part where Leon fights a troll. He like literally fights a giant troll in the game. That happens twice. He fights one by himself, and he fights two with Luis. But it's so fun that they get to fight trolls. It's pretty awesome. Speaking of Luis, there comes a part in the game where Luis and Leon team up, like, to save the president's daughter. That was the whole point of the game. Leon's been sent to Spain, where the game takes place, to save the president's daughter who's been kidnapped. And there's this minecart scene, which is like one of the funnest gameplays of the entire Resident Evil series that 4 has in it, where like Leon, he'll be like shooting these villagers and Luis will be steering the minecart through these different areas. It feels kind of like something from the Temple of Doom, the whole minecart chase scene. Resident Evil took inspiration from that and made it their own thing and made it 10 times better. That was put in Resident Evil 4, which is awesome. Plus you got really fun zombie-like creatures to fight through the entire game. The castle is really fun to go through. It's just really fun. Like, the final boss himself is really fun. Osmond Saddler, once you beat him, he turns into his like zombie form, which is like this giant scorpion-like creature. It's really fun. You fight him on a pier, and then the whole thing like turns into a Metroid countdown thing. You know how in those games near the end of the game, Samus has to escape the planet before it blows up, and there's a timer at the top that is counting down before the planet blows up. That's how this is with Resident Evil 4 after you beat Saddler. Like, the factory that Leon and Ashley are on is going to explode, so they gotta escape that. You got this cool jet ski escape scene at the end of the game. It's just a perfect game. Really fun. It's my favorite in the entire Resident Evil series. So, this one, I could see myself playing it the rest of my life. I love this game. So, wrapping it up, Biohazard, a great horror game if you love just horror and finding different elements of horror as you go on through the game. Definitely check this out. But is it a game I would play the rest of my life over and over again if the series were to disappear and this was the only one left? No. And same goes for Requiem. I love it, but with if the series were to disappear, I'd have to get rid of this one. But Resident Evil 4, something about this game has me coming back to it all the time because I love it. Anyway, that's my thoughts of it. If you enjoy hearing me yak about this, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, click on the link right here or right here to see more videos. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.